Good afternoon, Kevin.
Hey, Kari, how's it going?
Good. Thanks so much for being here with us.
Oh, thanks for having me.
So you were my very first interviewee of what we're calling Resiliency Conversations. And these conversations are something that we're going to be doing twice a month and sharing with our supporters and our donors and friends of Serendipity to really share what's going on behind the scenes at Serendipity, how you guys are coping with this pandemic, how not only are you coping, but adapting and growing in the midst of it in the all of the ways that you're serving the kids. So we wanted to just ask you a few questions and kind of start off and learn a little bit about what is going on behind the scenes.
Absolutely. Happy to help.
This year, our four pillar fund, which is the way that we raise money for Serendipity that supports our four pillars of education, mental health, transition, and wellness, is really focusing on what we call the resiliency response. And I want to hear a little bit more about that. What is the resiliency response and why is it important?
The reason resiliency is so important to our kids is they don't always have the same abilities to cope and to advocate for their needs as you or I might have.
Yeah.
And so we really need to be able to fill that skills gap for them. And we need to have the resources to be able to build their resiliency and to help them cope and advocate for themselves.
What are some of the specific things that you guys are doing at Serendipity to address those needs? Because clearly mental health is the top of everyone's mind right now, whether you have a kid in school, whether you're dealing with going to work and educating your kids at home. What are the things that specifically Serendipity is doing to address those needs, which have obviously been very high always for these students, but now are probably drastically increased?
Absolutely. I think you explained that really well. We're always committed to mental health supports here at Serendipity. And I think one thing we really had to get the hang of was that we're used to kids coming into the building. And we know what to do when kids are here. We can see when they're sad. We can see when they're upset. And we are able to dive right in and teach those skills as we see fit.
Yeah.
One way we had to adjust our model during comprehensive distance learning was we had to really increase that backward and forward communication between students and families. So we have used a lot of technology to kind of bridge that gap between school and home. We have trained our master's levels clinicians to be able to better kind of interact with homes during this time of distance learning. We are looking to add a kind of resource specialist who is going to be kind of like a one-stop shop for parents and families to connect them with services, because there are a lot of services out there, but that can be super overwhelming when you don't know who to go to get this help. So our resource coordinator will be able to help our master's level clinicians increase their capacity to support families in receiving additional services.
Really freeing them up to do what they do best.
Absolutely, that's correct. Another thing that we're doing is our art therapist, Jolie Gilbo, is producing art therapy lessons along with her intern. So she's really able to reach into the home and provide this vital kind of coping strategy to our students, some of whom do better with artistic expression than maybe verbal.
And I'm really excited because we're going to have Jolie on as one of our folks, and we'll get to hear a lot more in detail about what she's doing and how that's going.
Another thing we have done is we have transitioned one of our senior special ed coordinators into the role of Tier 3 coordinator. And this means that she is able to coordinate care for our most impacted students during comprehensive distance learning. So she really is an extra safety net for any of the students who might be slipping through the cracks. And it's just one more thing that we're doing to ensure kind of access and equity for all of our students.
So all of that information is so good to hear. And I'm really excited because we're going to get to hear more and more about these different things as we go along in the months. As we get to interview more people, we get to hear in detail what are the things that you're doing and what is it like on a daily basis to be connecting with these kids, to be serving these kids in such a powerful and profound and important way. So we look forward to all of the conversations, and thank you so much for being my very first interviewee, and have a great day.
Thanks so much, Kari, for having me. You too.